For this video, I am going to show you some basic formulas in Excel that you may be able to apply to a basic mathematics course. As you can see on the left, I have a number or a set of numbers to work with, and on the right, I have a task that we may complete. The first task is to round to the nearest tenth, and the easiest way to do this in Excel is to use the formula mRound. As with any formula in Excel, I will start with an equal sign and then type the name of the formula, which is mRound. When you place your first parenthesis, you will see that the tooltip appears, and it tells us the first thing we need to insert into the formula is the number that we want to round. So I will go ahead and click on our 25 and 67 hundredths that we want to round, then place a comma, and the next step is to insert what multiple you want to round to. In this case, we want to round to the nearest tenth, so I will place 1/10 in there. When I press return, it does actually round to the nearest tenth for us, in giving us 25 and 7/10. The next job that you might do is to find the square root of a number. Again, we start with an equal sign, and the formula to find a square root is SQRT. Go ahead and place my first parenthesis, and then you will notice that the tooltip says to just select the number you want the square root of. So I will select the 25, press return, and in fact 5 is the square root of 25. Another task that you may complete is to find the absolute value of a number. Again, we start with an equal sign, and the formula to find the absolute value of a number in Excel is ABS. Again, when we place our first parenthesis, the tooltip appears to tell us that we just need to click on the number we want to find the absolute value of. I will click on negative 109, go ahead and press return, and 109 is in fact the absolute value of negative 109. For the next steps, we will use the green array of numbers. Now you must imagine that this array of numbers is much larger. In Excel, you're usually working with very large data sets where it is not easy to count the number of columns as it is for our green array of numbers. So as we're imagining that, to find the number of columns, we would again use a formula in Excel and start with equals. And the formula that we will use is columns. Go ahead and place our first parenthesis, and notice that it tells us to select the array of numbers that we want to know how many columns there are in it. So I will go ahead and select my entire array of numbers and press return, and it will in fact tell me that there are 3 columns. We can do the same thing for rows. Equals rows. Place the first parenthesis and highlight the array again, and it will in fact tell me that there are 6 rows. Another set of tasks that you might do for an array of numbers is to find the mean, median, and mode. And Excel has formulas for each of these. For the median, it is just what you would think, equals median, open parentheses. Of course, you must spell it correctly. Highlight the array of numbers and press return, and the median would be 53.5. Mode is exactly what you would think it was as well, equals mode, open parentheses, highlight the array. Now for average, it is equals average, but average may also be known as mean. So make sure you actually use equals average and highlight the array of numbers and press return, and our average would be 52 and about 9/10. One of the last things that you may need to do is to use information in your Excel spreadsheet to calculate another mathematical formula that Excel does not have a pre-created formula for. For example, the circumference of a circle. You may be given the radius and expected to calculate the circumference. To do this, we would again start with an equal sign, just as if we were calculating any other formula. And we know that the circumference of a circle is 2 pi r, or pi times the diameter. In this case, we're assuming we have the radius, so we would put a 2 in. And now we have a problem because we need to use pi, and we know that usually we do not want to round pi to 3.14. We want to actually use the full irrational number pi. Excel will allow you to do this. It has a formula that will bring up the irrational number pi. So we will simply type pi, and then we will do an open parenthesis and a close parenthesis, and that will cause Excel to give us the irrational constant pi. We don't need to put anything in between those parentheses, we just leave that blank. Then we can go ahead and multiply by our radius, and we will in fact get the circumference of the circle.